This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brookes Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brookes Blooms' three-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey, where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space.
This podcast is presented by Tab. Best time in sport with the best app in sport. G'day everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Ads and Dunks podcast. Adsy joining me on the line as always, mate.
Yes, mate. It's good to be back, and what a guest we've got.
I know, really looking forward to this chat. Shaina Jack, thank you for joining us, Shaina, firstly, and obviously a massive privilege to come on the Ads and Dunks podcast.
Oh, it's a huge privilege. I've been waiting for the day that you guys would just reach out to me and say, Shaina, we need you on this podcast. So I'm very honoured.
Thanks for jumping on, Shaina. We've had some good guests on, but we certainly haven't had an Olympian on. So really excited to have a chat with you.
No, thank you guys. I'm excited to see what we can delve into and what nitty gritty things we can talk about.
I love it. Well, we might as well get started. Can you give us a bit of a insight into your story, like your life as a whole? Obviously, there's a lot of people that would know you out there, but for those that don't, give us a bit of an insight.
Oh, my life's been crazy. It's a bit of a roller coaster. I guess a lot of people may know me more for my drug saga that I went through from 2019 through to 2021. So that was a 2-year ban that I was given for having a positive drug test that was unintentionally in my system. And we were able to prove that, which was kind of a mixed emotion bag of things, because not only was I going through a process that completely derailed my career at the time, it also was one of those concepts I couldn't wrap my head around, where I was given a ban for something that I never did and didn't do. And so I was able to prove my innocence, but as an innocent athlete, you were still given the 2 years. So that may be why most people know me. Hopefully recently they know me more for my 2 gold medals at Paris, and one of my favorite moments of my career, other than coming back and making my first Australian team post-drug ban, was probably my personal, most emotional favorite moment. And I guess, I've swum ever since I was young. I've got 3 brothers, so very competitive. We've always been involved in sport, loved everything. I've, done netball. My brothers played AFL. I did volleyball, basketball, soccer, tried everything. Kind of looked like a fish out of water. So swimming was definitely the way for me. I broke my hand in 2022 swimming at the World Championships in Budapest. That was my first competition back. It was actually it was quite disheartening to go through something like that, because I just made it back. I, worked really hard to get back on the Australian team after the drug saga, and I was about to swim my 100 freestyle individual, and I was warming up, and I got my fingers caught in another girl's togs, and it broke my hand, and I was I was sent home. So it was kind of a bit of a PTSD that I went through again, being sent home again and having to go through something that I hadn't planned for and wasn't really equipped for. But again, so proud of myself to be able to work with my team and come back nearly 4 weeks later and compete at the Commonwealth Games, which I walked away with, I think, a gold, silver and a bronze. So my career has been all over the place, but it's one that I'm extremely proud of. And I think a lot of people don't realise that I've actually been competing for my country and travelling the world since I was 13 years old. I was kind of always behind the scenes. We had Kate Bronte-Campbell, and Em McKeon and, Brittany Elmsley, Maddie Wilson. Those girls were all, my competitors when I was younger. So I was always kind of just in the background. And I guess I made my first shift forward in 2018 in the Commonwealth Games at the Gold Coast, where my team and I broke the world record in the 4x100 freestyle relay, and I was 19.
Wow.
So,
what an amazing little insight you've already given us. I mean, so many questions were bouncing off my head. Probably the one that was you've already answered was, how the heck did you break your hand swimming? You must have been hitting the water really hard, but I'm glad you answered that for us. you touched on earlier at the start, Shayna, about obviously the 24 months you had out. And I'm someone who's always been really big on mental health and being able to talk through it and having my own challenges. I've got no doubt at all that you would have had some mental challenges throughout that 24-month period. And you probably still do now, to be quite honest, because of obviously what you've gone through. My question is, how did you, I guess, mentally get through that challenge, especially knowing, as you said, and as everyone knows, it was an innocent mistake. Obviously, you've been proven that you weren't guilty, obviously, and now you've been able to go and do some amazing things. How did you really get through that challenge mentally?
Yeah, that's actually a really great question. And in all honesty, Ads, I really actually appreciate that you can recognize as an athlete yourself who's, experienced mental health, that it's not just a problem or a feeling that you go through in a moment. It's actually something that's ongoing and you continue to work through. So you're absolutely right. Like everything that I faced in those 24 months, I still struggle with to this day. And it's been nearly 5 years. So, it is a lot of trauma and a lot of moments where, like, it is a bit of PTSD where something will happen and my body gets that instant shock of deja vu of, like, I've been through something like this before, and it makes my body kind of shut down and panic in a way. So, I never used to be someone that would have panic attacks, and now I do. And for me, going through mental health and going through such a struggle like that I wasn't equipped for, wasn't prepared for, going through panic attacks, going through moments where I didn't recognize myself and didn't recognize what I was feeling. And also with that comes that isolation. And it's only really when you start to rebuild and get yourself out of those dark moments and dark areas that you can reflect a bit better. Because I know for me, like, I had emotions that were anger and sadness and frustration and fear and confusion about my life. And I couldn't process any of it. I wasn't able to actually understand why I was feeling any of those things, but I also couldn't understand why nobody else understood why I was feeling those emotions. And so it's only really now that I've been able to, rebuild myself and keep working on myself and, continuously see a psychologist regularly and start to advocate for mental health, that I feel I'm actually starting to understand myself better. And I feel like I'm actually able to help others. So, a lot of people will ask me, how are you so resilient? How are you so strong? I wasn't. I was not strong. I had so many moments that I wanted to give up. I had so many moments that I, hated the world, and I felt like a victim. And there were so many days where I just gave up on what life was like, because I thought without swimming I didn't have anything. And so I didn't know what to do with my life until I got to a point that I fell too far and didn't want to continue on with the world. And I've spoken publicly about this because I think it's so important to own your moments of weaknesses, because that's courageous and that's strength in itself. And so me not wanting to be on this earth anymore and thinking that I was a burden to people, my fiance actually recognized that I wasn't myself. And he said, when I got to a point of actually acting on it, and he came home to me in a bad state, he said, that's it. You need to go and see professional help and actually find out why I'm going through these emotions in a certain way. Every single time I tried to be positive and strong and get myself out of these depths of mental health, I couldn't by myself. I couldn't do it alone. And I needed these people around me to help. And I sought out medical help, and I actually learned how to understand. And they actually diagnosed me with reactive depression. So there is so many different variants of depression and what that might look like, and the signs and the feelings that people go through. And mine was at a state of, every single time I tried to get myself out of my state, something else would just knock me back down again. And my brain could not handle it. So once I got some medicated help, I started to be a bit more rational with my decisions and be able to understand what I was going through a bit better, which, was what put me on the mend in a way. It didn't make me see an end to my process because it was still well and truly at the start of my process that this happened, but it made me feel better about who I am and the fact that I have more to offer than just a career in swimming. And that's probably what turned it all around for me, was being able to own who I am, look at myself in the mirror each day and be proud of who I am, whether I'm a swimmer, whether I'm not, own the kind of person that I am, not what I do, and stop judging myself based on, my labels of, Olympic athlete or, whatever it might be, person who goes into jungle. So I found that really, really valuable because during that time, I constantly put on a mask for the outside world. I constantly wanted to look strong and wanted to look like I was determined. And on the inside, I was just breaking.
Yeah, that is an incredible answer, Shayna. And obviously, you've been through so much and learned so many lessons. I want to know, outside of those lessons that you just sort of mentioned then, what ones have you learnt in swimming? Like, swimming is one of the hardest sports to mentally get yourself up for. Like, I want to know what you've learnt from that experience and that side of things.
Did everyone just hear that? Dunk says that swimming's harder. So
it is. I can't swim to save myself.
No, that's a great question. I think in swimming, the one thing that I really love about swimming is that you learn to lose to cherish the wins. So when I was younger, I used to be the biggest sore loser. As I said, I've got brothers. I'm a big competitor. I don't like losing. I don't know if anyone really likes losing, but it actually helps build character, and it helps cherish those moments where you do succeed and a goal or a ambition comes together. Because, for me, even when I look at my career, I don't think I would have cherished the Olympics as much as I did if I didn't have to literally claw my way up that mountain to get onto that podium. Because you can only see up the mountain when you've actually been at the very bottom in a way. Like it is one of those moments where, I guess the best way I can continue to describe it is when you look at the bottom, if you're at the bottom mountain looking up, it looks so scary. It looks like a lot. It looks excruciatingly painful. But once you climb the mountain, you stand on top, you can actually reflect and see how well you've done and how far you have come. That's probably the biggest one I always learn, because whenever I meet other athletes or I am actually mentoring younger athletes, I always try to help them understand that losing is all part of it. If you don't want to lose, don't try. Don't do it. It's not, the sport is, everything in life is about, having failures and having moments of defeat, because if you constantly succeeded, you wouldn't cherish them.
Yeah, I obviously certainly agree with everything you're saying there, Shayna. I'm going back to talking about mental health side. And firstly, I want to say everything that you spoke about in terms of, worthlessness, not feeling wanted, giving up. I can wholeheartedly say I've been in the exact same situation as you. So let me remind you that you are precious and you are so much worth more than swimming. You as a person and everything that you bring outside of that is so unique and beautiful to this world. So just a little reminder for you in case you needed it.
Thank you.
I also wanted to ask you, you mentioned mentoring. Is that something now, what you've gone through and now what you continue to go through, is that something that you want to dive into and I guess help athletes, but people in general?
I'm going to get emotional because I think for me, I look at everything that I went through and I would never wish something like that on my worst enemy. I don't have any enemies, by the way, but I think everybody's just human. We all go through challenges. We all go through highs and lows, and being an athlete and as you guys would have experienced as well, it is sometimes difficult because you live your life in a very public world and you put yourself in a situation where people can scrutinize and judge you. And having that is really difficult at times because it does put you in a situation where you feel worthless to the rest of the world. And half these people don't even know you. And, even with social media these days, we all put ourselves out there to try and send the right message and try and be influencers in a way of actually creating change for the world. And that's what I try to do, is I try to be as authentic as possible, because if I'm not myself, how am I going to encourage other people to be themselves and to own who they are? And so I think with everything I've gone through from a mental health perspective, but also from a perspective of feeling like I judged myself based on my career, and I judged my worth based on my career, I didn't want to ever see anybody else go through something like that, and didn't want to ever see anyone actually give in to that pressure and that feeling of worthlessness, because there's so many avenues now to make people feel like that. It's easily accessible through social media, through media platforms. It's scary at times, and all we can do is, myself as a sports person, and even what you guys do here, it's all trying to share a message so people can learn that we're all human. People make mistakes. People, everything happens for a reason. And in the end, not everybody, life is hard. Life sucks. It is not about having roses every day. And what you see on social media is people's highlights. It is not, I'm not going to go on social media and constantly tell people about difficult things I might be going through, because that might be private. I'm not going to share those moments because they're my moments. But I will be honest that life is hard. Life is not meant to be a, linear to success. You have to work hard, and I'm damn proud of myself because I do work hard, and I know that everything I've gotten has been because I've worked hard and continued to be my best self.
Amen to that.
Yep. The answers that you're throwing at us are just incredible, Shayna. I'm a big believer in that. That's why we do this too, the podcast, is because we want to make sure that people understand that our lives aren't perfect, and they see the social media side of things. And as you said, it's all perfect and everyone can see the rosiness of, being a professional athlete. But for us, we go through the ups and downs. And I want a bit of an insight into now, where are you at currently? Obviously, you said you're back in the grind and you're back swimming. How are you going currently? Mm-hmm. What's going on in your world? I think, are you over in Perth or are you back in Brizzy? I'm not too sure.
I'm currently in Perth visiting my fiance, and my puppy dog is here as well. So I am training. I am in the grind. I'm currently in what our pre-season phase would be. I know that the team is currently in Darwin in their pre-camp before World Championships. So for me, I've kind of got that mongrel side of me going where I'm like, okay, now I can make some shifts while they're all away. The last year, so post-Olympics, has been really eye-opening in a way. I absolutely loved my experience in Paris and loved everything that it had to offer. And, I'm never going to be upset coming away with 2 Olympic gold medals. It's such an incredible honor to be able to represent your country in the first place. And, I know there's so many people who potentially may have missed the team and had to experience that feeling of, do I do this again? Because it is a 4-year build. It's not something we look at a couple months out and go, oh yeah, we might try that. It is a huge climb, and anybody who manages to get onto that Olympic team is a huge honor. And then if you're able to actually podium, it's I think my coach Dean Boxall puts it the best way. There's more people who climb Mount Everest than win gold medals at the Olympics. So it is a very, very special thing to walk away with. And I then went on and got engaged because why not? So my fiance proposed to me in Rome after the Olympics, which was incredibly special. And he wasn't like him. He's not usually like a huge romantic gesture kind of person. So I never thought he'd do it at the Trevi Fountain in front of heaps of people.
That's cool.
So it was incredible. And I came home, I worked with LSKD, and a company that again also creates such a community and inspires people of all sorts to be their best selves and do their 1%ers. So to be able to work with them and actually come out with my own clothing line was an incredible bucket list moment. I was just kind of riding the high, kind of just enjoying every moment, taking hold of every opportunity. I got asked to go into the African jungle for I'm a Celebrity, and I said yes.
Oh, no way.
Mainly because I wanted to see all the animals in Africa, but that I forgot they actually starve you the whole time and put you with crocodiles, and that's my worst nightmare. So again, an experience, maybe one I won't do again, but an experience. And I came home with the mentality of, yep, I'm ready. Let's get back in the pool. Let's start training again. And, my coach even said that I came back happier and more myself after having that decent time off and time to reflect on the 5 years. And, it wasn't just the build into the Olympics. It was all that time away from the pool. And I'd kind of put that aside for that build because I wanted to focus on my goals and not get too emotionally involved from a perspective of what I'd been through with the drug saga. So I definitely took some time to reflect and just be proud of myself. And then unfortunately in March, I lost my Great Dane Hugo, and he was actually what got me through a lot of that time. So that was a huge blow, and I struggled to swim. I struggled to want to swim anymore. It might sound crazy to everybody because they, I don't know how much people put onto their dogs in regards to life, but he was everything to me. He got me through every moment, every dark moment. He was there by my side through my drug saga. He actually came 3 days after I got sent home from Japan in 2019. So he was literally there every step of the way, paw print behind me. And to lose him at the age of 5 to something that I thought could be preventable, but it was too late. And I carried a lot of guilt. And I don't know if people go through moments like that where something happens and you struggle to overcome a moment of guilt. But to this day, I still feel guilty that I don't have him, and I feel like it was my fault. And I didn't want to train. I think there was a couple sessions I turned up and my staff, the people I work with and my coaches and everyone were trying to get me to understand that, let it all out of the pool and just enjoy swimming. And I said, I can't enjoy it. He's the reason I turned up. He was the reason I did things. He was the reason I fought to come back. And then I think my coach and I sat down and, he always said to me that, he's always there for me no matter what. Dean Boxall is family to me, and it's not about the results. It's not about the racing. It's not just about being an athlete. He always remembers we're human first. And so he just took the pressure off, said, just turn up if you can. If you're turning up, you're already winning. Don't worry about the results. Don't worry about, this year I wasn't going to compete this year anyways. It was kind of just one of those moments where I thought, I'll give it a go, see what happens. And he reminded me that Hugo got me through all that. And Hugo was the one that helped me fight to the end. Don't let Hugo be disappointed if I stop fighting and if I stop swimming because of because of losing him. He wouldn't want that. And it was actually also Sam Barter who put into perspective that Hugo has now passed because he's done his job. That he got me back and he got me, to where I want to be and helped me succeed and achieve 2 Olympic gold medals. But now it was time to continue without him and find my own passion outside of him. So I did compete at the trials this year, and Buddy put a smile on my face because it's exactly what he would have wanted. So I was really proud of myself. I had not done the training that is required to be, one of our incredible girls in those 100 freestyle teams and the 50 freestyles. So I was really proud of myself for getting up there and not just being myself and having fun, but also standing up with those younger girls who are coming through and helping motivate them to get on that team and do our country proud. So that's where I'm at.
I love how in depth you go, Shayna. I think it's amazing, and I love how invested you are. It's you're an incredible person.
Thank you.
I know I've got no doubt Hugo would be extremely proud, as I know you know that. And being a dog parent myself, I've got 3 dogs of my own. As if you watched the episode 2 episodes ago, Josh probably legally got me because I've got 3 dogs currently in my house, and I don't think I can legally have that unless I get it ticked off by the council. So.
That's all right. We'll just keep that hush hush, everybody.
Exactly. So I can relate. Hugo to you is my Griffin, who's a husky, who's 12 and a half years old.
Oh.
So I can certainly relate.
my-
Yes, I did know you had a husky, which is what's his name?
So this is Willa. She's actually a Malamute cross German Shepherd, so she's a little bit bigger than a husky.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's a fan favorite. She's very, very beautiful. As they all are, technically.
They are. I can certainly relate. I've got Griffin, as I said, who's been with me for my whole footy career, and I've almost lost him a couple times, and I nearly pulled out of games as well. So I can certainly relate. You touched on, again, I really like diving into the mental health side, and I feel like it has has a big impact on many people who listen to the podcast. You spoke about your fiance Joel, who is a professional hockey player. So he's a professional athlete himself. Both Josh and I obviously dating professional athletes. Obviously, my Kim is done now, but she certainly was a superstar. My question is, how much have you learnt, I guess, from each other, and how much do you lean into Joel, I guess, understanding probably where you're coming from in times of need when you may be struggling mentally, maybe struggling physically, maybe struggling with your sport? How much has he helped you?
Yeah, that's an awesome question, and because I actually get asked this quite a lot, mainly because Joel and I both individually had a lot of highs and lows. You know, there was my drug saga and bits and pieces that I went through, and then we had to do distance. So for those of you who don't know, the Australian hockey team is based in Perth. So, and I was in Brisbane. And so it was even one of those moments at the end of 2022 where he was selected in the Australian team, where he told me, and it was like, yay, but no, stop. And I think we both had to really learn to be selfish, but respect each other for being selfish. So I struggled a lot more with that because of what we went through together in 2019 through to 2021. I relied a lot on him, and I relied a lot on him for his just caring nature. He's really relaxed kind of guy. He brings me back down to earth a lot of the time. He's just a warm heart, and he's very centered. So I'm someone who's high functioning, controlling, like crazy person. Everything's up here for me, whereas he's like down here, so we kind of meet in the middle. So it definitely chills me out. And we struggled quite a bit, in all complete honesty. We struggled emotionally through my drug ban, mainly because I wanted to be left alone. I was so angry at the world. I was so in my own bubble. And again, with the mental health side of things, I felt like no one knew how I felt. And I remember countless times saying to him, you have no idea how I feel. Every time he'd try and help me, or sometimes he'd want a hug, and I'd tell him to just get lost. And in that moment, it was what I felt, and I don't deny that. And when I got out of it, I remember sitting him down and saying to him, look, if you can't love me the way that you used to because of the way you've seen me, I understand that, and I respect that, because what we went through was extremely difficult. And I was not a nice person. I was not a good partner. And in a way, I neglected him as a partner. He basically was just my best friend. But he stuck by me, and he constantly was there for me. I know sometimes he said when he'd come home, he'd feel like he was walking on eggshells because he didn't know what side of me he was going to get. Was I angry? Was I sad? Was I myself again? So when we got through it all and we had those deep conversations, and he was honest with me about how I treated him, and I was honest with him about how, you know, how I appreciated things that he did for me, and I could never thank him. But in the end, I also wasn't going to apologize, because in the end, in that moment, that's how I felt. And people have emotions, and people are willing to, respectfully, they're able to express those emotions. And we kind of got through that. And I think being able to go through something like that, where we were bonded for life, he knew exactly how I function. He read me like a goddamn book. So when we started to do distance in 2022 up until now, he just knew how to communicate with me. He knew what I needed at times. And when it comes to him and his career, he's had a fair few injuries. And, I'm sure you boys are well aware, when you get injured and you have a goal and you get set back because of an injury, it's extremely difficult. And I constantly tried to be there for him. And sometimes I tried to manage, and he would be like, no, I just need you there as an emotional support, not a managing support. And being able to have that open communication with each other is really what helps us get through both being elite athletes, both being selfish, the fact that you only have a certain amount of time to be an elite athlete. We have the rest of our lives to be together and to experience life together. And the hardest moment for us both probably was in the lead up to the Olympics in 2024. So a month out from the Olympics, Joel, he did an injury that was not correctly diagnosed. So he wasn't able to continue with the team that went away to Europe a couple of days later. So he was still in Perth, and I was about to compete at the trials in Brisbane for the Olympic trials. And he was hurting. He was upset, again, in a way that he knew he was physically okay in the end. It was just a misdiagnosis. And his chances of making that Olympic team were gone because of misdiagnosis. And he had to put that aside for me, because I was about to compete at my biggest event, which was the Olympic trials. So I know that every partner probably says that their person is the best person in the world. But I don't think that I would be the athlete that I am. I don't think I would be the person that I am if I didn't have my fiance by my side for a lot of the moments in my life. I met him before I made the Australian team. And so I've actually never experienced a year where I haven't had him there supporting. So he is honestly my number one fan, and I'm obsessed with him. So I'm his number one fan. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to go and watch him play, because most of the times they go to Europe, and whenever they're in Europe, I've got competitions as well. So we tend to just unfortunately have the early morning wake-ups to watch each other race or play. And yeah, we are really, in all honesty, I can't say we're not a dream team, like you guys would be with your partners. It's one of those moments where it works for you and you make it work. And ours is, we respect each other's selfishness, because careers only come once in a lifetime. And as long as we support each other and love each other, there's nothing we can't do together.
Incredibly well said, Dee. I don't know if we could repeat those words as well as what Shayna just said, but yeah, unbelievable.
Just tell your partners they're amazing and you'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah, true. One last question from me. And you mentioned Dean Boxall. We were actually fortunate enough to have him come out to the footy club this pre-season. And a few of us boys went down to a training session and watched him do it. I think it was a Saturday morning. And
yeah, I was in the jungle. I got told, and I was pretty jealous. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I just cannot believe how hard he's trained, one, but also what is it about the black line on the bottom of the pool that is so motivating for you guys? Could you just swim and swim and swim and swim?
In all honesty, the black line, I don't actually ever really notice it. I would say
it's right there. It's right there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and this is actually one that people sometimes get confused with swimming. So we are a team. We do train as a team. We are very much a team sport until you're behind those blocks. That's how I've always looked at it. And that's why I really love the relays, because you get to continue as a team. But at St. Peter's and under Dean Boxall, we are a family. We will, we will do anything for each other. Like we're we bicker like family. We have jokes like family. We have banter like family. And you know, Dean is our front man. And he, you know, he obviously, people see the persona of this crazy guy who's, you know, all over the place. And all I can ever say is that's a man who dreams for us. He lives and breathes. When I sat him down and told him, you know, when I came back, I just want to stand on that podium. I want an Olympic gold medal around my neck, and I want us to prove them wrong and to show them that no matter what they did to me, we were going to prove them wrong. And he feels that, like, it burns inside him. When he goes home from training, he doesn't just forget about the swimmers. He thinks about what went well, what went wrong, what can we do next time. And that's a very hard thing to find in coaches. And it's also the ability to work with each individual athlete as an individual athlete, but bring them together as a team. And the one thing that he continues to install in us, and this is something that I think everybody should install in them, is moving your default, is what he says to us. And it's about your default is when you give up. What is your give up moment where you're literally like, no, I'm done. You know, people might start a set and they're like, no, they stop halfway through and they're done. You know, to him, it's moving the default, moving the point where you give up. Because if you can continue to move that up, you know, when you're struggling and you're tired, or when you get sick at the Olympics, or when things don't go well, you go back to your default. And if that default is still higher than everybody else's, you're unstoppable. And so that's the kind of mentality that he installs in us. And, you know, that's what's helped me through so many things in my life, is being able to, when I resort to my default, I never actually give up. The amount of times I think it, I go, oh, I'm done, I'm finished, I can't go anymore. And you just keep going. You just one lap after another. And if I didn't have him, and if I didn't have the family environment that I have at training, you know, you wouldn't have the incredible athletes that you've got under Dean. He's got, I believe, now 12 Olympic athletes under him, and it you know, it speaks for itself. That man is the reason people show up. And when I don't want to be there some days, he is the motivation that gets us across the line.
What an incredible man. I wish I could one day meet him. He sounds like someone who, if you need some motivation, just go and speak to him, because I'll never forget the iconic moment. I don't know. Was it the 2020
Tokyo Olympics
Games? Yes. Never forget that moment, watching that, where he was banging on that freaking whatever he was freaking going nuts
the
on.
railing, yeah. I think for him, even that moment, he, you know, a lot of people have held him, you know, to that moment in his career, and they completely forget he had no idea cameras were on him. And as I say, that moment is him and Arnie, like Ariane Titmus, achieving something they have worked literally since she was 15 for. And so it all came together in one moment. And if people live and breathe swimming and sport, they will understand that there's a lot more losses than wins. So when you win, it is everything coming together in that one moment for perfection. So yeah, especially in swimming, you know, when we went to the Olympics this year, we had, you know, terrible cardboard beds. We had, you know, no meat, no decent food. The air conditioning in the buses were off. The people were fainting. There was COVID everywhere. There was influenza A everywhere. I got sick. So, you know, I had to basically just forget it and pretend like it's fine and I'll get through it. And that's what we do. We turn up for ourselves. We turn up for our country, and we've got so much pride to do that. So it's one of those moments that you wish you can live over and over. And I'm lucky enough to have done it, I think, 9 times now.
No doubt there's a lot more to come. We're going to have to wrap it up there, Shayna, because we could talk for hours. You have been an incredible guest. So grateful and so privileged to have you on the Ads and Dunks podcast. You're only 26 years old. You've got 4 world records. You've won Commonwealth gold. You've won Olympic gold. You've actually also won an Order of Australia, which is quite remarkable as well. There's so much you've achieved in such a short period of time, but most importantly, off the back of this podcast, we've got a sense into your life and how much of an incredible human being you are and a beautiful person you are. So from the bottom of my heart, myself and Josh want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and I've got no doubt that everyone who listens to this is going to walk away and want to follow your career and your life and your journey for the rest of your life. So thank you so much for coming on the potty.
No, thank you guys so much. Any opportunity that I can to help share, what I've been through and help people potentially get through moments of difficulty. Everyone faces adversity. So you guys are doing an incredible job at sharing those stories, and I really appreciate you asking me.
Well, Adsy, what an amazing chat that was with Shaina Jack, one of, I reckon, the best guests we've had on so far, and we've had some good ones.
Yeah, mate, she's what an incredible person she is. She's clearly been through a lot in her life. So really looking forward to following her journey now going forward.
Absolutely. And before we get stuck into footy, we might as well just jump into our segments quickly. Let's get into our Brookes Bloom of the Week, mate. And as always, we'd love to thank Brooke for all her support. So what's your Bloom of the Week this week?
Yeah, we certainly do. Love you, Brooke. My Bloom of the Week is the quarterback documentary. Ooh. I watched it all in the span of about 24 hours, watched every episode. Even though I already know how everything pans out, I thought it was a great watch. I really like it. I really like how it's so accessible now. Like, they're actually doing documentaries. They did the receiver one as well. They've done an NBA, they did, didn't they? They did an NBA one with Anthony Edwards and stuff. So I really, really liked it. That's my Bloom of the Week.
Love it, mate. Well, my Bloom of the Week is actually my cousin, and that is Joel Johnson. And I don't know if you know, but he races. Remember did we go to a go-karting race a long time ago?
I know all about him. No, we didn't. Yeah, I know all about him.
So, mate, he's notched up his 50th win in the Hyundai XL Championships category. So last week he won again, and he's won 50 times now. So I just wanted to pump him up, mate. He's been driving for a long time as a kid in a go-kart for such a long period, and winning more often than not. So if anyone out there is listening to this and want to support Joel, I just want to pump him up and give him my Bloom of the Week.
Well done, Joel. What an absolute superstar. That kind of falls into me, would you rather, actually. So I may as well get into it.
Okay.
Not exactly what he does, but it's along the lines of driving cars. So my ripping would you rather, I've only got one for you, mate. This is a good one. So Josh and Brado, would you rather always be stuck in traffic but find a perfect parking spot, or never hit traffic but always take forever to park?
Oh, I hate trying to find a park. I'll go traffic and car park spot.
Brado.
Oh, I hate traffic. I think I would take no traffic and then just park illegally and cop the fine.
Oh, well, how good. So I'll cop the fine for 3 dogs in the house, and you'll cop the fine for parking illegally.
Hey, we're all bad boys here except for Dunks. Squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean he is.
He won't rock up for 3-4 hours, but when he gets here, he'll be parked right out the front.
I'll leave 3 to 4 hours early just to get that spot out the front.
I mean, you have to anyway from the farm, don't you?
Yeah, that's true.
Geez, that's a lot of traffic in between here and Gippy.
It is a lot of traffic. It's a good would you rather. It's probably my favourite one I've asked you.
That's your best work, easily.
Thanks, mate.
Easily.
Thank you.
There you go. Have you got any others for us?
No, I'm only going to stick with the one. I want to make it good rather than
punchy.
Just ask 3 or 4.
Finish on top, I reckon.
Exactly. I'm going to make it really good.
All right, Adsy, we'll move on to another one of our favourite segments, and that's our tab tip of the week. What did we have last week? It didn't get up in the. It was the Origin.
Whatever we had didn't get up. That's it.
And it was off to a good start. It was off to a good start.
Yes, it was off to a good start. And what a game. The Maroons, Cam Munster, what a week for him. Well done.
Yeah, unbelievable. It was a incredible watch. It was actually before our game on the Thursday night, so was kicking back in freezing cold Melbourne, watching an absolute clinic by the Queensland Maroons, mate.
It was unreal. I loved it. It's just, if anyone wants extra motivation ever, just go and watch the Queensland Maroons in the cider. They're just incredible to watch when they can field a team the way that they did and New South Wales have the dominant side and be able to get up. Unreal.
Yep, so good. This week, our tab tip of the week is going to be the Winter Challenge this Saturday. And Adzi and I are going to go head-to-head in this one. So it's this Saturday at, I think, 2 o'clock, around about that time. Adzi, who have you got in this one?
I love how we're going to go head-to-head, and we're both probably going to be horribly wrong, as we always are. But I'm going to go Estadio Mostella, who I know you've been all over before in previous preps. But off the back of its last start, was unreal. Won at long odds, and I did message you or called you actually afterwards and said, I was like, mate, I wanted to back it. I didn't. I shit myself, blah, blah, blah. And then it won. So I'm going to ride the hot form and go Estadio Mostella. What about you?
I like it. It was definitely one that I looked at and crossed my mind, but I'm going to stick with Thunder Lips. I'm loving Bjorn Baker at the moment, and I just feel like it's in some good form. So I'm going to stick with Thunder Lips. That is currently, as we are sitting here right now, $5 to win, $2 to place. The barrier draw, I think, is tomorrow. So you're $6 with the Estadio Mostella and $2.25 to place. So that'll be a good head-to-head. We'll see. We might have to put something on the line, mate, for whoever crosses the line first. What do you reckon?
Done deal. Maybe dinner or something. I am in Brisbane.
Right,
I am in Brisbane on Saturday too, so maybe dinner.
Oh, yeah. There you go. All right. Well, we'll sort something out there.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. But as always, gamble responsibly, ads. And, we look forward to seeing how those two go this week.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Now we'll move on to the footy side of things. Before we get into that, actually, I just want to talk about and touch on and give these girls a mention. I was just down at the under-17 girls, West Bulldogs, doing some coaching before this, and they said to give them a shout-out because they're massive fans of the potty. So just thought I'd do that before we get into the footy side of things, ads.
On the Bulldogs. Good luck for the year. Hope they're going well.
They train well tonight. All right, let's talk about this week's games. What was anything that caught your eye, mates? What are you thinking of some good ones?
Yeah, obviously disappointed that we lost. That was probably the one point that is really frustrating. Being there and then watching and, just extremely disappointing that we're now, I don't know what our record is against top 8 sides. I know Brado would be dialing it up now and having
1-7.
As I'm mentioning this, 1-7, which is disappointing because, we know that, and we know that to obviously, be a realistic chance come the point end of the year, we have to, beat these sides. And obviously we've got you this week, which is, the Brookes Blooms Cup, which is really exciting in its own rights. But, just really disappointing. I think what was probably the most disappointing, and this has been spoken about from boys who have, done interviews and no doubt from Bevo in his interview, but felt like we were just soft in a way. And, we just didn't bring the intent or the contest that we normally would bring or we would like from us. And don't get me wrong, there were players that were, could hold their head high. Bont, arguably in my mind had one of the best games I've ever seen an individual have. He almost single-handedly dragged us over the line. I'd almost throw Ed in there and Libba as well, always flies a flag. But, I feel like we just had too many moments where we just lost some crucial one-on-ones or we just weren't strong enough. And I think the glaring aspect that anyone would have noticed is that we just missed way too many tackles, and you can't do that against sides that are as good as Adelaide. And on the flip side, you've mentioned it all year, and this was your side at the start of the year that you said will be really good, push to make finals and be a premiership contender. Mate, I genuinely think Adelaide are a legitimate chance to win the flag, and if they're playing their best footy come the pointy end, they're going to be hard to beat. So, from the weekend's game, extremely, extremely disappointed. And the boys are really flat about their performance, and hopefully that means it's going to be a real good bounce back for us against a side like you boys who no one realistically in their right mind is going to give us a chance against you guys up there. So it's a good mindset to come into a game and, play with a freedom and hopefully get the job done.
Looking forward to that one. I watched the Adelaide game, and it was a good game. Like, mate, so many opportunities to, I don't know, level the scores and scoring changes and that kind of stuff. It was great to watch.
The perspective of the fact that we, in our mind, and obviously me watching in my mind, we didn't play great, but we still were in it right to the end. We lost by 11 points. We historically have had games where we've probably played bad and the result has been blown out. So the fact that it wasn't a blowout and we were able to fight to the very end, they're the positives you take from those games. And, hopefully it means we can, play better. But enough of our boys. Would you – actually, no, you know what? This is what I wanted to do this. So I got to give you love, mate. Firstly, the Robert Walls medalist, which was amazing to see. Believe it or not, I fell asleep. So we message before every game and always message straight after the game. I fell asleep with about 10 minutes to go, and I tossed and turned about sending you a message saying well done. But I didn't want to jinx that they somehow kick 10 goals in the last 10 minutes and we lose. So anyway, woke up next day and I congratulated you, said well done. And then I didn't even realise there was a Robert Walls medal, and I seen that you won the medal. I'm so proud of you, mate. I'm so freaking proud of you. The reason why I'm so proud of you is it is about damn time, and I know Brado will agree with this, that someone who, doesn't do the sexy stuff, isn't the one who's on the end of all the offensive stuff, someone like you who is, probably the best two-way midfielder in the comp from the defensive point of view, but finally gets recognition from external people, and you actually get a best on ground medal is incredible. And I know you probably won't give a shit. Oh, you will care because it's obviously the Robert Walls is a huge figure in our game, but it's amazing, mate. And you also got the team coaches' votes because I always look at the coaches' votes. So well done. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thanks, mate. Kind words. It was a bit awkward because I've never actually made a best on ground medal speech. So I sort of got up there. I'm not sure if you've seen the interview, but I didn't really know what to say. I was a bit shocked and a little bit embarrassed because I know that, it's probably not it's not my thing. I've never been up there before. So yeah, it was an absolute honour, mate. Absolute honour to win the first medal, Robert Walls medal. And it was great to have everyone there on the night and celebrate afterwards, but moved on pretty quickly. It was a good team performance from all the boys. And I feel like it was one of our most even contribution games too. So that's all positive. And we look forward to this week's challenge in the doggies now. And very grateful.
Before we move on, I do want to jump in because you said he doesn't do the sexy things, but that smother of the handball into breaking the tackle and setting up a teammate goal. Oh, that was crisp. You got to, in the moment you're doing that in real time, quarter one or whatever it was, lock him in for the medal then. But you got to know as you're gliding through the air and you handball that ball off and it hits the target, you have to know in that moment how cool that was, right? You have to recognize that in the moment. As you're gliding through the air, you're like, yeah, that was pretty sick.
I mean, you do know when you have good moments, I feel like you hit a kick and you know that it's not bad. But that was one of those moments in the first quarter where, if I didn't come forward there, they were out and it was nice to be able to stop it for one. But then to be able to hit the target with a handball and then we finish with a goal, you feel those moments and they're important moments in games. So it was nice to be able to celebrate that one with the boys.
And for another one, because there's so many in the chamber, he had a best on ground. There's so many good moments. But there was one where you pumped it long from like the center square and hit your teammate right on the tit, and you didn't celebrate or anything. It was the long shot down the ground and you just kind of walked off like you were like walking off into the smoke, into the night. And it was like, Jesus, who is this guy? We do a podcast with this bloke.
Oh, no, that I always celebrate. Like I celebrate harder when other boys do things. So like I don't tend to celebrate when I hit a kick or anything like that. It's more like when I was playing with Ads, if Adsy kicked a goal, I'd celebrate harder than what he would, mate. Like I just love enjoying it on that side. Whereas
I think most people are like that, Josh. I actually genuinely think most players are like that. You see that they celebrate more than what well, I wouldn't say most, but there's a lot of people that celebrate more when their teammates does other stuff.
I just
Yeah.
figured he thought it was standard. He was like, of course I hit that kick.
That as well.
Oh, it was nice to be able to get that kick inside 50. I will say that.
All right, that's enough making you your head won't fit the hat.
Yeah, I know. I'll be falling out soon.
That is one thing Josh, not Dunks, can be proud of, is that he would never let that head get too big. You're thoroughly deserving of the Robert Walls medal, mate, which again is a huge honour because he was such a enormous person in our game.
Do you see
Thanks, mate.
Darcy Moore's speeches and you go, geez, I need to come out here and I need to do something here. I need to lift.
Oh, mate, if they're comparing me to Darcy Moore's speeches, mine would be 1 out of 10.
It's too much pressure.
Yeah.
All right, move on, please.
Let's move on.
Josh.
We'll move on from this one.
Before we get into the Bloom and Dunklaw votes, is there anything else outside of our games?
The Legends game is back. I saw that today, which is sick. I saw Cyril Rioli's actually playing and Gary Ablett Jr., so that's going to be sick as to watch. I don't know when it is, but anyway, look forward to that. Andrew Brayshaw's interview with the blood pissing out of his head. Did you see that?
Oh, of course it is.
Oh.
That's crazy.
What do you think?
That is crazy. Oh, well, probably would have just said don't do it. Like, go get your head stitched up or whatever he needed to do. But isn't that probably if there's anything that typifies a player, it's that would him, because he's very courageous and, you know, he's a tough contested player and who's a superstar of our game. So quite funny that scene.
All right, we'll move on. Bloom and Dunklaw Award. Adsy, give us your votes, mate.
All right, my one goes to Aaron Cadman for the Giants. Yep. He had an outstanding game. Kick 6, I think. Yes, he did. Kick 6. I just thought he was awesome. They were good again. The Giants are flying. I think they're really peaking at the right time. My 2 goes to Josh Dacos, which is rare that I give it to a player in a losing side, because I think obviously, you know, you've got to be pretty good to get votes in a losing side. But mate, I don't know if you watched that game. That was arguably the best quarter of footy I've ever seen an individual have. Like, the only other time I can think of a quarter was like Nick Davis when he kicked 4 in that final. Josh Dacos could have kicked 4 in that last quarter. He genuinely could have kicked 4 goals and had whatever he had. Like, I know Brado will know the stats, but like he just put them on his back and he had an amazing quarter.
16
and
and kicked 2.
16 and 2. Genuinely could have kicked 4 because he had two points, I reckon. And the only reason he didn't get 3 is because my best mate, Dunks, I don't think, you certainly ain't going to give me 3 votes because I don't play footy anymore, but any opportunity to get one of us 3 votes, I'm giving you the 3. And the coaches gave you 10. You're best on ground, Robert Walls medalist. So 3 votes, mate. Well done.
Oh, thank you, mate. Very, very humbling. I'll go into mine. I agree with you on Josh Dacos. He gets my 1 vote. I think they could have found another midfielder, the Pies. Like, he's been playing off half back, and for him to play the way that he did, it'd be silly of them not to play him in there full time, would you think?
Well, yeah. I think obviously what he does
just have it up the sleeve.
Yeah, I think what he does behind the ball really sets him up. But definitely when the game needs to be won, chuck him in there. Him and Nick together are incredible.
Unbelievable. Phil Thorpe got my 2 votes against you boys. I think he kicked 6 in that game, and he's just growing every week. Like the way that he presents the footy and what he can do at ground level it's insane. And I just feel like he's one that's going to be a very, very hard player to stop in the back end of the year. And my 3 votes actually went to Sam Switkowski from Freo. Yep. I think this guy is very, very underrated. He kicked 3, I think, on the weekend. He does all the little things that people don't see. And yeah, I love watching that. And I think he'd be a great teammate. So I gave him 3 this week.
No, I certainly agree with you. He's one of those players when you play against, team scout against him because of what he does for him.
All right, let's move on to this week's games. We might as well get straight into ours, Adsy, and it is the Brookes Blooms Cup. as you mentioned. It's going to be a massive
Yes.
game, one that we're all looking forward to. Do you want to give a bit of a rundown on what your thoughts are, mate? You've already sort of done that, but anything else?
Oh no, I've don't touch on it. I feel like just backs against the wall mentality, mate. We're going to have nobody back us, which is fair enough because of how we've gone against sides that are above us. So I like it within our group. We've got to, when we're in the mentality of going out there and with nothing to lose, it's a very dangerous prospect for an opposition to play against. So looking forward to how we go and. What better way to challenge ourselves against the reigning premiers and probably the most informed team in the comp?
Yep, really looking forward to it. And there is an Ads and Dunks pop-up alert that Brooke wanted us to mention on tonight's potty. And that is this Friday night as the Dogs take on the Lions, we're bringing the Ads and Dunks podcast to life on the veranda by Brookes Blooms, which is at the Gabba. So come down and be a part of the action, our exclusive pop-up event. Every guest will score a limited edition Ads and Dunks cap, which will either be like this that I'm wearing or a green one that Adsy and I have signed. So make sure you keep an eye out for the team. They'll be capturing the whole night and quizzing fans on their love for the pod. Who knows, you might even end up featured. It's footy, fun, and podcast love all in one epic night. So don't miss out.
No, I do not miss out. Please do not miss out. And as I said, I'm going to be up
Adsy,
there.
you're going to be there.
Excited.
You're going to be there, mate.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to do I'm doing the midfield stuff with the VFL on the Saturday at Brighton Homes Arena. So I'm excited to get up there and watch this game and then do the VFL the next day.
Yeah, nice. All right, let's touch on a couple of other games, mate. We'll go through our tips because it's going to be a good round of footy, no doubt. Thursday night, Essendon versus the Giants. Who have you got there?
Oh, mate, I don't think I've ever seen a team with more injuries in my life, really. Essendon, I just feel so sorry for him because of the amount of players. Will Setterfield and Nick Martin, two really important players, went out on the weekend. I just think the way the Giants are playing at the moment, they play Marvel well. I reckon they'll be too good.
Yep, I agree with that one. Next one is ours on Friday night, which we've touched on. Saturday, 1:20, Hawthorn versus Port. Should be a good game down in Tassie.
Port, I think, are missing Rosie and Horn Francis, which is two massive outs. Hawthorn in Tassie. I think they'll bounce back. They're hard to play there, so I'm going to go with Hawks.
Same here. Next one is Sydney versus North Melbourne at the SCG.
Yep, Sydney had a great win. What a tap from Brodie Grundy to Errol Goulden to win that one. That was perfectly scripted. I think Sydney I think they'll be too strong.
Yep, I'll go the Swans as well. The Blues versus Melbourne at the MCG. This should be a good game.
These are always good games. I think Melbourne, I do. I think they're not playing. Yeah, they're playing good footy. They're not playing bad footy like they've been in majority of their games, pretty much every game. So, and what a 3 weeks Jake Malcolm's had. He's kicked 14 in 3 weeks, which has been unreal, which is so good to watch. I love watching that.
It is good.
But I'm going to go Melbourne.
Yep, same here. I think Melbourne will be too good. The next one is Saturday night, 8:10 over in Perth, and that's the Eagles versus the Tigers.
Ooh, big game. I think Richmond might go back-to-back, which they wouldn't have done this year. So, I'm going to go Richmond to beat them over there.
I'll take the Eagles. I'll take the Eagles at home. I think they might get this one done. Sunday, Cats versus the Saints. These games have historically been very tight, and Saints have been good against the Cats.
I could be wrong, but I think Saints beat Geelong earlier this year, didn't they? Brado, maybe you can tell us as I'm waffling on. They did. Well, this is at GMHBA though, so a little bit different. They don't usually play there, so I think Geelong will be too good.
Yeah, I think so too. After I pumped up the history. The next one is Collingwood versus Freo at the MCG.
Great game. Freo always, typically, don't jinx, play well against Collingwood. The G, I reckon they're one of very few interstate teams that have beaten them there. I'm going to say, I will still say Collingwood, but I reckon it's going to be a really, really close game.
Yeah, I'll tip the Pies. Actually, no, I'm going to tip Freo. You're tipping the Pies. I'm going to tip someone else. I'll tip Freo in that one. I think It's going to be a cracking game of footy, and I can't wait to watch it. Followed by the next one as well. So it'll be back-to-back games on a Sunday, and that's Adelaide versus the Gold Coast Suns at Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, again, people spoke about last week being Gold Coast's biggest game in their short history, which it probably was, and what a win they had. This could be right up there as well, because if they win this game, they will almost go top 4. So with a game in hand as well. I'm going to tip Adelaide, but again, I reckon this will be a great challenge for the Gold Coast, and I wouldn't be surprised if they really take it up to him. But yeah, Adelaide irresistible at the moment.
Yeah, I'll tip the Crows. I think I just can't tip against them at the moment. I think the Suns are in good form, but I feel like the Crows at Adelaide always hard to beat, and yeah, they'll get that one done. So that's it, mate, for the round of footy. Where are you going to be sitting on Friday night? You got tickets? Do you know yet?
No, I don't know where I'm sitting yet, but I did get the tickets. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the new house up there. I haven't seen the joint up there that we got earlier this year. So looking forward to staying there on Friday and Saturday. But yeah, looking forward to it.
So Saturday night, we'll lock in a feed then?
Sure, mate. Absolutely. I'll be at, as I said, Brighton Homes Arena doing some coaching, which I'm really looking forward to this game because you boys are flying in the VFL and our boys are going well as well. So really looking forward to this game. But yes, mate, let's lock something in. Maybe a Lenica. Any Ads and Dunks fans out there that want to come to see myself and the great man, come to a Lenica.
I love it. I love it. There's going to be a couple of good games Friday night, followed by the Saturday VFL. So if anyone's around, make sure you come say good day. And yeah, that's another week of the potty done, mate. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of days' time. And yeah, all the best.
Thanks, mate. You too. All the best. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brookes Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brookes Blooms' 3-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space.